What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gobbler Effect, season number 2, episode 8 here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. My name is Chris Pierce. Happy to be back with you for another episode. Joined today once again by head coach Joey Mullen, as well as special guest rookie netminder for the Hokies, Tucker Forrest. As always, gentlemen, how are we both doing today?
Doing well.
Doing wonderful.
Well, it's been a while since we've had an episode here on the YouTube channel. It's been 2 weeks exactly, but there's been a lot of action for you guys in between 5 games. You had two against Maryland 2 weeks ago. Then you had the fall showcase this past weekend, 3 games. We're ready to talk all about that and all things Virginia Tech hockey. Oh, do we have a lot to discuss? But we're gonna first backtrack to last month. October, last weekend of the month, if you guys playing Maryland, the 25th and 26th, you guys coming out with the sweep once again. You guys swept the whole month of October. I just want to start with that. I mean, how did it feel to, collect all those wins and build that momentum throughout the month?
I don't know that we really thought about it. Like it was just like this team's been pretty cool. It's just one game at a time. And honestly, until you said something, I didn't even realize we had done that. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was,
Yeah, I mean,
go
oh,
ahead, go
sorry.
ahead, go
I
ahead.
mean, like we kind of just took it, like Coach said, one game at a time, and we didn't really think like about what happened in the past or what happened in the future. Like we were just taking it weekend by weekend, game by game, and like period by period, and so we were just trying to win every game, and then we just started stacking them up.
Yeah, you guys started that Friday game a little slow, but you guys eventually came out the win. And then on Saturday, you guys exploded for 8 goals. It got a little physical there towards the end, you guys seeing each other, playing each other, a lot of physicality. Tucker, you played in that game. You got the win. How did it feel to stay be undefeated? And that was your first game against ACCHL competition. How did that feel?
I was a little nervous, like just about as nervous I was for the first game against Charlotte. First time playing a ACCHL opponent. I knew it was gonna be tough. I kind of didn't really know what to expect. Just being in net for the first time because watching it is one thing, but actually being in the crease and seeing how fast it is and everything going around, it took me a little bit to get up to speed, but I felt pretty good about how that ended. And yeah, just like looking forward and using it as a building stone to just be ready for more ACCHL competition and pick up more points going forward.
Yeah, you guys faced Ryder earlier in the month, and then you had the fall showcase coming up. What did you guys do to prepare for those 5 games against league competition where, every game matters?
I think we've been really good in practice this year. Having such a deep roster, it's really competitive. Having the four goalies that push each other every night in practice has been good. I think it's been really good for all of them because, like, honestly, we can roll anybody we want to, and I feel comfortable with them in there. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but we did that this weekend at the showcase. Every goalie started, every goalie played unreal. Thought we should have won Sunday. I thought we let that one slip away. But it was a good run.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna definitely talk about what happened this past weekend, but I just want to stay on Maryland for one last question, and that's you guys have been absolutely dominant on the power play this season. You guys scored 4 goals on the power play that weekend. What has been your formula for success on the power play, and why has it worked so efficiently this season compared to how it was prior seasons?
I think the biggest thing has been probably the freshman defensemen coming in. They've really kind of settled things down. Sometimes it gets hard when you're running 4 or 5 forwards up there. They're just not natural being up on along the blue lines a lot and having like JX and Max come in and kind of settle each power play down a little bit. I think it's built a lot of confidence in the guys that are already on the power play. And it's just made it run smooth and they all laugh and joke, and this is a pretty tight team, so it just kind of has just flowed naturally and been easy so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, this rookie class has been sensational. You can't really put any more verbs. I mean, including you, Tucker, you've been absolutely phenomenal in it and all of your starts so far. What has it been like this so far on your first year with the Hokies? What has it been like bonding with the guys, with your fellow rookies? What has it been like?
It's been great, like going into tryouts. I didn't really know too many people coming in, but like so far, I mean, I've loved all the other rookies and everyone on the team so far. So it's made it really easy and taken a lot of the stress out of going into the net each game when I know I got guys that are gonna back me up and they're gonna be there for me because they like it's one thing to like want to win as a team, but another thing to like want to win for the guy next to you. And so when I'm in net, I could definitely feel that they want to win and help me out as well.
Yeah. And what has it been like? You guys have four goalies in that room. What has it been like? What's the competitive levelness between all four of you guys week in and week out in battling for starting position?
I mean, it definitely raises the stakes when you're not guaranteed everything. You got to pretty much go out there and earn it. So you kind of got to take every practice as a game, and you got to go out there and you got to work hard, give 100%, 100% of the time. And so, I mean, it just makes you better, honestly, when you got guys like Shane and Ian and Sully like right behind you, nipping at your heels, trying to take your playing time pretty much. I mean, we're all like pretty close, so it's not really a guy versus guy, but everyone wants to play. And there's only a limited number of minutes coach can give out. So everyone's looking to get as much playing time as they can.
Yeah, no, for sure. And coach, I know you mentioned it a lot of times about this goaltending group that you have. How has Tucker exceeded his expectations? I know you've talked about him way too much on the show. I mean, what has he done for you guys this season that you just can't believe he's done?
I mean, I think we didn't. I didn't know. Dave kind of recruited him a little more than I did. I didn't know he was coming till late, so he was kind of like a bonus. I knew we were still in a good spot because I knew Ian and Shane would be there. But having him come in has just pushed them even to be even better. Like this is the best year he's had. This is the best year Shane's had. So I mean, it makes it easy for me when like I don't have to worry about who's going in the net. I can be like, all right, I trust all three of them to play against anybody at this point right now. I mean, literally, we've given up what less than 30 goals as a group this year and scored almost 100. So that's got to make it easy on a goalie too when we're averaging about 6 goals a game.
Yeah.
And they're averaging like under two a game as a group. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better three. Even Sully, like I love the kid to death. He pushes these guys. He's the ultimate teammate. So it's just nice having all four of them around all the time.
Yeah, I mean, prior to that weekend series against Maryland, you guys were scoring just about 6.5 goals a game while simultaneously allowing just about 1 goal a game. I mean, this goaltending group's been absolutely insane. But I want to shift gears now to what occurred this past weekend with the ACCHL Fall Showcase. You had games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against Delaware, Rowan, and Penn State. First, I want to talk about heading into the weekend. What was your expectations of this team and what was said to the guys before the first game?
I think it was really the same mentality we've had all year. I think Doozy really pushed this home this weekend was like win every period. That was the goal, not necessarily like but if we win every period, we're gonna win every game. So that was the mentality is not to get outscored in a single period. And honestly, I don't think it happened until the third period of the third game is the only period we didn't score really a goal. I think one period against Delaware we didn't score, but every other period we had scored a goal. So they really took that to heart. And I think if we play that way in all these big games coming up down the stretch, like it's really going to put us in a good spot for regionals and possibly nationals.
Yeah, I mean, I started all three games with the lead. You had scored the first in all three games. How important was it to start each game with the lead, and how did that build your guys' confidence and momentum during the weekend?
I mean, playing with the lead is way easier than chasing the game. Anybody will tell you that. If anybody says no, we like playing from behind, then they're a different team than us. But I like playing with the lead. I think it takes the pressure off, especially if you get an early goal. Everybody just takes that big sigh of relief and it's like, all right, let's just get to our game now and just keep rolling. I don't think we didn't trail last weekend until we lost in overtime. So, and we've trailed, I want to say like in the last 14 games, maybe 5 minutes
Sounds
total.
that sounds about right. But no, I mean it's been like this all season. And I mean I also want to shift back. I know you mentioned the goaltending. You had Shane Cook start against Rowan. You guys won 5-1. He was phenomenal in net. You guys started Tucker on sorry, no, you started Shane against
James Delaware,
Delaware
yeah. Yeah.
and then Tucker against Rowan. My bad. I got people up. Both 5-1 wins, by the way. But I mean outstanding goaltending. And then Ian on Sunday, who against a very, I guess, equalized team in Penn State, who I is very similar in comparison. You guys just barely lost. I mean, this goaltending group really keeps this team in games and makes you guys have a chance to win every single night. What would you say? Sorry, what does that mean to you guys that you guys can have that?
It's great knowing going into a game that you have a chance to win every game. Doesn't matter who we put out there. You have a legit chance to play with anybody. And we kind of knew, and me and David talked a lot about this, that Penn State was going to be the first team in probably since the first game that was going to be able to match us speed wise and play wise. So I think it was a good, even though we lost, it wasn't bad for us. I think it showed us where we were, the few things we need to fix, and get ready going into the stretch run.
And Tucker, I'm going to ask you now, what were your takeaways from this past weekend? What are some things that you might have, saw in your game that you could work on or that you really liked? What was your overall take from this past weekend?
I mean, I think playing another ACCHL team and doing pretty well against them kind of helped me with my confidence, especially after the Maryland game. Like no goalie wants to give up 5 goals even though we won. So I think coming having a bounce back game and pretty much shutting the door like really helped me going forward as we go to look to pick up more points in the ACCHL. If I get in those games, I think I'll have a lot more confidence going into them now that I've got 2 games under my belt and I know that I could play at this level.
And I also want to talk about what also happened this weekend with the first line. I mean, they've had how many games have they had played together? What, 10?
10 or
Close to
11, yeah.
10 or 11. They've had 91 combined points on that first line between Garlock, Paduzzi, and Kim Kazai. I think I checked the ACHA website today. Gavin Paduzzi, I believe, has the most points in the whole nation or M2 within the
So yeah, me
yeah,
and Bill talked
not
about
not
this.
not updated, but like it
No,
was
me and Bill talked about this today. Gavin actually, not all of our games are entered in there
yeah.
yet. So Gavin actually has 43 points, so he's the leading scorer in the country, and Cam has 33 points, so he's number 2 in the country right now.
I mean, what is it like to have that both number one and number two in the country in
And I
scoring?
think Garlock's in the top
He's
20 too,
yeah, he's
with
climbing up.
22 points. I
I
mean,
mean, what is
it's
it like?
easy. It's easy. Like you don't have to say much to them. They just go out and do their, and it's not like they don't net hang. They don't point hunt. They move the puck well. They score a lot of gritty goals. They score power play goals. They score shorthanded goals. Like they play every time, every situation. So it's nice to be able to all right, throw these guys out there. Like they may not score on a shift, but they're going to give you a shift that builds. And like we've had pretty balanced scoring. I want to say right now we have like 9 or 10 guys with 10 points or more this year already. So
Yep.
we're getting it from every line, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to like Ethan Garlock, he scored in 9 consecutive games. He had 11 goals in 9 games and 9 consecutive games with a goal scored. Paduzzi, out of your guys' 15 games, has a multi-point games in 14 out of those 15 games. Because I think has now 11 out of 15. I mean, this team has just been a complete 180 of what we saw last season. I mean, the numbers that they're putting up are almost video game like. I mean, and it's not just the offense. You're talking about the defense too. You're talking about Jay Schlages, who's a two-way player. You got Brian Rice, and then you got the goaltending with Ian Key and Tucker Forrest. It really gets this whole group really excited to go on the ice every night and showcase their abilities. Tucker, I'm gonna ask you this question. What is it like, showcasing what you can do on the ice and with the guys around you? What has it been like?
I mean, it's obviously a lot of fun, when you go out there, and I mean, it makes my job easy. I don't really have to do too much when you get putting up 6 goals a game. I mean, I just need 1 or 2, and then I like mentally tell myself that's all we're gonna get. So then I have to keep that score down. But when they just start running up the score, it definitely just makes it easier on me and allows me to focus more on playing my game and not being too tense in that net because I like to play really loose and free and not get too stressed out. Because being stressed out for 60 plus minutes is not a recipe for success, at least for me. So being able to relax a little once we go up a couple, just being able to focus on playing my game and not get too worked up. It's just been really easy, and I guess the wins have shown that.
And I do, before we move on, I just want to ask one more question about the Sunday's game against Penn State. You know, it was your guys' first, it was not in regulation, so you guys still keep that streak going, but it was your first guys' defeat since the opening night against NC State. I just want to ask, Coach, what did you see went wrong with you guys, especially in the later stages of that third period, giving up that goal and then in overtime, Penn State capitalizing early and getting the win?
We made three mistakes, I thought, in that game that cost us. So we had a 5-on-3 power play for almost 2 minutes and didn't get anything out of that. We had one bad defensive play in the third period that led to the tying goal. And I know it happens sometimes, so that's not the reason we lost. That's part of it. And then when we had a power play with a minute left and it carried over into overtime 4-on-3, like that's something that we got to learn to make it count, make it hurt. We should have won that game. I think we let it slip away more than they beat us. I think um, they're a good team. Like I mean, they're always top five team, top 15 team in the country. So I mean, it just shows that where we're at right now and where we can be in another month or two.
Well, you guys don't have a game this upcoming week. You get a nice little rest. It's about halfway point of the season. You guys will return home next weekend in a home against Wake Forest. So I'm gonna ask you this. You guys are now obviously on a bye. What are you doing to mentally and physically prepare yourselves for this next half of the season, especially with as we mentioned, with the January gauntlet, a whole bunch of ACC Edgel competition, and you just faced a bunch of competition this past weekend. What can you take from what you've learned this past weekend and use it towards your momentum and what you're going to do for the rest of the season?
I mean, I think it's a great break. We've had like 6 or 7 weekends in a row. It'd be nice for these guys to get a normal weekend at school, get caught up on some homework, probably get to a football game this weekend. So it's fun. We like to get the guys to as many as they can, try to keep it somewhat normal. Because like their Christmas break gets cut short because we'll be back in the end of December this year to get ready for Charlotte outside. So that's going to be fun. I don't think we learned a little bit about ourselves. Like we when you win 11 in a row, you know you're doing something right and you're probably pretty good. Got a few things to fix. I think the that Wake Forest will give us a nice little test. They're usually a good team. They push the pace up pretty good. They got some high skill guys. It's always a hard place to play down there too. So get another road test, and then Denison coming up. We got to look at them this past weekend. They've got their top line's pretty good. They got a good freshman goalie also that I know personally, so I'm sure, and he's from Roanoke, so I'm sure he'll get one in the game, so he'll be a little extra motivation there. So I think it'll be a good 4 games to end the semester and get us ready for that. God, what's it? 7 straight games against UNC Wilmington, and NC State. So
Yep.
it's six in a row. The outdoor game's not a league game, but the 6 after that are all league games, and that'll decide who wins our division and where we end up playoff wise and what seed we get.
Yeah, I mean, I know you just mentioned it, but you guys obviously saw more teams this past weekend at the tour at the showcase. I mean, what I was just gonna ask, what did you see? Were you scouting well? I mean, were you impressed by some teams? What were you seeing?
I mean, UNC looked good. They had some they played a real tight. I mean, they lost 4-3 to Penn State in overtime also. So I mean, they played a tight game, so they're right there with us. NC State, we saw them Saturday and Sunday. They played after us, so I didn't catch a whole lot of them, but they handled Ryder pretty well. Had a tight one with Maryland, but Maryland's one of those teams that always plays big games pretty tight. So
Mhm.
you kind of expect that. We know what we have with State. We've seen them before. We're pretty familiar with how they run things and how they play. So I think those games will be good. I think Wilmington will be a good test. They're kind of young like we are. They're not flashy or anything. They're just hardworking, and they just work. I mean, they're gonna push for 60 minutes. Like they played Delaware this weekend, was down. They were down 3-0 going in the third and won 6-3. So they can score. They can score quick. We come out ready, keep doing what we're doing, win every period, and we'll be fine.
Well, one last question for you guys. As I mentioned, it's halfway point of the season. You guys obviously have played now 15 games. Looking ahead, towards what you got going on later on. What has been your overall analysis of this season so far, and what are some of the big things that you're looking forward to besides, obviously the outdoor game, but skill wise or, staying competitive wise that you're looking forward to and finishing out the season strong?
You go first, Tucker.
I think that it's kind of just, stringing together wins. It's a lot of fun playing when you're winning. So I think if we can just continue to string it together and keep playing hokey hockey, I think we don't have to look too much at individual opponents. I think if we just look at ourselves and keep playing the way we've been playing, we know we can hang with anybody as we proved this past weekend. And like seeing all the other teams at the showcase, I know we can hang with all of them. So just being able to like focus internally and not get too caught up in like playing other teams that we have history with or anything like that. Just keep playing our game.
Yeah, I think I mean, it pretty much sums it up well. I think as long as we keep pushing ourselves as a team, and our biggest thing is we don't play to other teams. We want them, if they want to play with us, they got to come play the game we want to play. And I think a lot of coaches will tell you that if you're chasing the game and trying to chase matchups and we need to do this and we need to do that instead of just playing how we play, it makes it difficult on us. So we're just going to play the way we do it, have fun with it. And I think that's the biggest thing. We've had a lot of fun this year, and winning's always fun. So the more you can stack that up, the easier it gets.
Yeah, well, obviously we're all looking forward to seeing what happens with you guys. Enjoy your guys' bye week. Well, that will do it for episode number 8 of the Gobbler Effect here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the channel here, as well as click the notification bell for live stream and content updates this season. Tucker, Coach Mullen, thank you again for joining us. Folks, don't forget to tune in next Friday as the Virginia Tech Hokies take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons at the lot. It's Veteran Appreciation Night. You can watch the game live here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network starting at 7:30. Until next time, go Hokies.